What's crackers, people? What's crackers, people? Anansi here, and welcome to the Abandoned Coast, and back to X-Blades. No subtitle. In the last one, we fought the light and were sent to the beach. In this one, we're going to get messed up. So this introduces a new mechanic. We now have the power of darkness. This darkness, how would I put this here? This darkness ties into what's the one for here? It ties into the multiple endings of this game. Yes, this game does have multiple endings, and it is dumb how they determine how you get the good and bad ending. For right now, though, we're gonna say for lightning blades, these are this. Trust me when I say this is the ability that you want most of all. I'm not even kidding on this. It's 25,000, a bit steep, but it's well worth your time to try to get it. Anyway, where are we at now? So we got Ice Arrow. But yeah, periodically throughout the game, we've been affected with the power of darkness. So periodically throughout the game, until we can fix it, we're going to have random moments of just this giant ball of darkness coming out and assaulting us. You might be wondering, well, how do we know when these enemies start coming at us? Well, if you look at the bottom right corner, you'll see a health bar. That is the enemy assault meter. Yes, it just replenished. That means we're into another phase of this, but it doesn't last that long. Some of these segments are difficult, some of these are not. So long as you are making good use of your area control moves, you should be fine. Some of these enemies are difficult to deal with. I'm not going to act like they're not, just because these particular ones are really fast, and I think they up the speed on pro difficulty, but I noticed that they don't do any less damage. That's actually something that I forgot to bring up at the last one. As you go up in difficulty, what does not happen? You actually have to use your abilities on these guys. So yeah. What doesn't happen is they don't artificially jack the difficulty up by making the enemies do more damage and you take more damage or do less damage. The difficulty, I believe, in terms of damage, you do the exact same amount of damage, you take the same amount of damage. The only difference is how aggressive the enemy is. I believe that's the only difference. So, as long as you're just, stay on top of things, crowd control, that kind of thing, you shouldn't have to worry about getting overrun by enemies too often. There are moments in the game where you're going to have enemies that are unbelievably obnoxious, and these enemies can be one of them. But as long as you're just on your game, you should be fine. This is new. I don't recall ever getting two of these guys at me at once. Oh, now I got three. Okay, so yeah. This is through the air. Oh wow, they did a lot of damage to me. Okay. Luckily, I have rage. Kind of dumb that you can only do damage to these guys via rage moves, but this is what it is. Luckily, these I believe these crystals do regenerate over time. From behind me, so I want to do that one first. And these guys do a decent chunk of damage to you, no matter what difficulty you're on. Like, I have had these guys legitimately mess me up on easy mode. But luckily, the proportion of damage they do to you is transferred proportionately into rage. And we have our feel-good suit on, so we can regenerate damage so long as we are keeping that distance. And with that, we're taking care of all of them. Oh, no, wait. We got more coming, don't we? Okay. As long as we are taking care of that, we should be fine. And using air denial. So yeah, you're pretty much seeing the gist of the game. You're going to go from point to point. Every now and then there'll be mini bosses and actually difficult bosses. Just mostly a boss. It's mostly like a Mook Rush gauntlet for the most part. And yeah, that's pretty much it in terms of gameplay. So this is why I say this isn't really one of these games that are worth picking up. But I wanted to at least show it off, and I wanted to show that I do know when my taste in games can be not good. And I want to at least have a good laugh at myself, you know. I'll show you guys that yeah, I can get a couple of things wrong every now and then. And here we go. But yeah, so I mean, it's like you can see the inspirations there, and I'm not gonna have a whole lot to talk about, so I'm probably gonna be spending a lot more time rambling inside this series than I usually do. And for those of y'all who've been with me for a while, y'all know that I tend to ramble a lot. But yeah, no, that's pretty much it. So yeah, at the time of this recording, I guess I'll go ahead and talk about what's been going on at the time of this recording. Oh, here's a new one. This is your Ruby artifact. This improves your airstrike skills. So basically, you're attacking the air. Don't really get it myself. So at the time of this recording, they've announced a Halo TV series, and I'm actually legitimately excited. I've been a Halo fan for a very, very long time, and seeing that they're making one now, making a live action TV series, is legitimately exciting because we've been hearing rumors for years about a Halo movie that Steven Spielberg was interested in making at one point, which that could have been amazing. Oh, here's a gold medallion. This increases your melee skill. Basically, these just increase the damage that you do in your specific deal. So like your gun will do more damage, your sword will do more damage, and your air attack will do more damage. You won't have a lot of reason to use your air attack very often, if ever, but at least you have it. But yeah, no, they're making a Halo movie, and I'm legitimately excited for it. It's not a movie, a TV series. It's airing on Paramount, I believe. I believe it's Paramount. Paramount Plus. So yeah, so right next to the Rugrats, we're going to have Halo. That was very strange. Honestly, I would have figured that Disney would have tried to grab that, but I guess since it's a Microsoft IP, Disney doesn't have the money to really buy the rights for a Microsoft IP. They might be rich, but they're not that rich. I missed an object, but I found all the artifact parts, and I found all the valuables, so can't really complain at that point. But yeah, so I'm hoping that it's gonna be some good stuff in there. I'm cautiously optimistic as to what it's gonna be about. Oh, here's a mini boss. This mini boss is actually legitimately difficult because it fires homing rockets, and you have it fires homing attacks at you. And you can only really avoid it by having it hit other things, or just run around the area. So you're going to have to be very careful fighting this thing. What I recommend doing is essentially dodging the fireballs, attacking the enemies, and then getting pop shots in when you can. And that's the best thing I can recommend, because otherwise, his fireballs don't do too much damage, all things considered. But the issue that I have is that when you try to go in for the close-up melee stuff, that's when the damage comes out. That's when the damage comes out, and that's when you have to be real careful. So yeah. Now you can spend your time here farming souls, but you want to kind of wait till later before you start farming, because as you get further and further in the adventure, enemies start dropping souls worth a lot more per individual, as opposed to what they're worth now. Get out of here. I do kind of wish that Ayumi didn't have that delay when she landed, but you know, it is what it is. And just keep on moving around. So as long as you're just, you know, doing damage to these guys and avoiding the fireball and then firing up your own fireball at the same time, you will be fine. Also, I probably should address it. I'm not sure if anyone's question in the comments last part, but I will be showing off where you can get Ayumi's extra costumes. I vaguely remember where they are, but trust me when I say, if you're exploring this game, you will find it. You will find no problem. Like they're not very well hidden. Or I say they're not. One of them is actually decently well hidden, and that's only because you have to do a very, very tedious platforming section. And that's literally it. It's just the platforming section itself is very hard because, you know, you've seen the jumping mechanics, you've seen the movement mechanics so far. But as far as it's concerned, as far as that one's concerned, yeah, the regeneration suit is actually really easy to find. Like, I remember just kind of bumping into this one. I'm not even kidding. I remember bumping into this suit. And I think you get like halfway through the game. Well, I say you find it halfway through the game. You have to equip this. I believe you have to equip the outfits at the start of a playthrough. You can't just find it and then equip it. So it's like, on your basic playthrough, yeah, when you find them, sure, you find them, but you don't get to keep them. Well, so you don't get to keep them. You don't get to use them. Not until your next playthrough, and that's your incentive to replay the game. But you can find both costumes on a single playthrough because they are hidden in the environment, and I will be pointing out where they are when I get to them. So don't worry about missing out on them. Here we go. I don't think there are any other costumes for this game. I don't think there are any other. I think it's just these two. Unless there's one for being on Pro, which I wouldn't know because it's my first time playing on Pro. And I'm not gonna lie, I'm not having the hardest time. I actually did a test playthrough of this on normal mode where I was trying to play this like I would play a Ninja Gaiden game or a Devil May Cry game. And I was having way more problems on normal with this boss than I was having on this difficulty. So as you can see, the difficulty settings of X-Blades are not very difficult at all. You just gotta be aggressive. So yeah, it's a good catharsis game. It's one of those games that you just kind of pop in for maybe an hour of dumb fun and go from there. Oh, I'm not too close. Yeah, that's where the real damage is. When this guy hits you. He like melees you, that's where the damage is. And no, he never leaves that tiny little circle. He will just walk around the circle the entire time. He should be about dead. Got just a smidgen of health left. Oh, come on. There we go. Now that's done, just kill the rest of these enemies, and we're good. And there we go. Got a straggler here. And yes, you can turn the blood and gore off. As you can tell, it's very cheap looking. Level complete. So once again, take the time, look around, see what you can find. There are quite a bit of goodies around here. And if you want to get the best abilities you can, go for this. Find these as soon as you can. And yes, I do highly recommend saving up for the lightning abilities. You want to save up for the lightning abilities as soon as possible. You will have enemies that are going to require you to grab certain abilities. Like, we have the fire skills, but you're gonna have, but that's for dealing with ice elementals. I'm sure you can probably assume there's fire elements which are going to need ice arrow. They'd be the ice arrow for, but I recommend saving up and only grabbing those when you absolutely need them. So that's 2 of 3. Um, Yeah, I had a hard time with this one because I was playing it more conservatively. I was running around the outside. I was just taking a lot of hits, letting the feel good armor regenerate all my health for me. It wasn't I wasn't playing optimally, which was the main problem. Um, X-Blades requires that you be as aggressive as you possibly can to get through a lot of these sections, and the moment you start playing aggressively, the easier the game actually gets. Um, I think that if you had a few more combos and yeah, just a couple more melee combos to keep it visually interesting, it would be a lot better. I mean, even Sonic Unleashed got that right. Because the enemy variety is there. Like, there is actually a pretty solid amount of enemy variety in X-Blades. Like, more so than it really needs. But the combos just aren't there to make use of it, as to where Sonic Unleashed had lots and lots of combos, many of which were just completely overpowered, but it had lots of combos you could use, but the enemy variety just wasn't there. And I mean, and that's just a testament to the fact that enemy variety can honestly make or break your game. Right? Combo for and I believe they call it the weapon sandbox. If your weapon sandbox isn't there, it just won't work. Like, take for instance Halo. The original Halo's weapon sandbox, you had human weapons and Covenant weapons, and each one served the purpose. We can probably get one more stage in. But yeah, the each weapon served the purpose, and so let's say like you want to use human weapons. Okay, human weapons are good for taking out. I'm gonna grab this, so that makes 2. Do not fight these enemies on the stairs. These enemies will actually give you a pretty decently hard time. Just for the sheer fact that they like to fire energy blasts at you. You fight them on those stairs, you're gonna fall off. So what you want to do is you want to take care of this. Use projectiles. Do not let them get into position like that. That's what these enemies do. These enemies will start to link up with each other. If you let them link up with each other, you're going to be in for a rough time. Because what they do is they do this area of effect attack that it won't insta-kill you, but it does a lot of damage. It does a lot of damage. These enemies I recommend just shooting as much as you can. Try to avoid, just jump as much as you can and avoid the eye stalks. Well, I guess the ranged versions of the dragonfly enemies, because that's what these ice flavored enemies do. They first of all, you can actually shoot them dead, so you can just kind of move around and just move and shoot, move and shoot, move and shoot. But they actually do take damage to physical attacks more so than their more physically oriented counterparts. So just move around, shoot, take them down. But yes, you want to take these these phantom enemies down, because that when you see see them start to connect a string, that's your signal that they're about to perform their ultimate attack. It doesn't insta-kill you, but it is annoying. And if you let them start doing it once, I remember that it became a complete pain to deal with them afterwards, because then they would just spam it. So to take them down, and go from there. And this is just the level. This is, like I said, this is the lore here. It's just gauntlet after gauntlet after gauntlet. And I believe that they do, and once again, the enemies do palette swap, as you can see. They get different variations and stuff. Shoot these guys, I think I spent too much time shooting the other enemies. We're about halfway through the gauntlet now. And yeah, look at that. See, my health is regenerating at a pretty steady pace. I've taken a couple of hits there, but nothing that I can really shake off. Every hit I take increases my rage. Even though my guns don't increase my rage, only the melee attack. Every hit I take just gives me a lot more. Give me a lot of magic to use to one-shot these guys. As you probably noticed, my fireball has been one-shotting pretty much everybody. Now I believe how these how their string of destruction works, whatever you call it, is you have to get 5 of them in a row. They'll make a pentagram, and then that does an area of effect that you cannot avoid. The moment you see one connect, start shooting immediately. Because I believe it's time-based. Luckily, these enemies don't show up too often. They're just kind of. I think they show up every now and then. They're not frequent enough to be a problem. And once we get our maximum lightning abilities, they just like this whole game becomes a non-issue. Like it becomes a complete non-issue. There's also an achievement in this game to go 8 levels without taking a single hit. As you can tell, I have not done that. And I don't think I'm going to do it anytime soon. It is possible to do it. I think if you do it on easy mode, the enemies are less aggressive and you can just get away with just being even more reckless. But yeah, I'm not. I haven't gotten all the achievements in this game. I've gotten most of them. And I haven't even gone out of my way to really, do that. Level complete. There you go. Just that. But yeah, I haven't really gone on my way to do it. I think a lot of them is just exploring around, beating certain bosses, getting to certain story progresses. I think finding at least one of the extra costumes. So yeah, like I said, the game is not hard. There are segments that can get you in trouble, but it's not hard. And if you look, and you want those achievement hunters that want some easy gamer score, you really can't get much easier than this. And is that it? Is that going to be it? I think so. Let's see what skills we got. Teleportation instantly moves a Yumi to another location, allowing her to escape entrapment or avoid danger. Is basically just a dash. Now we have furious shooting. This one is not bad. It allows Amy to shoot twice as fast, but spins her rage. If there isn't enough rage, it fires no more bullets. So how this will work is that if I had, because I need 20,000 to grab this, if I had enough, I would be able to swap her firing mode. You see her firing mode is this slow thing right now. What Furious Bullet does is it effectively turns her into a machine gun as long as she has a rage bar. The moment that rage lets out, it fires even slower. So there you go. So yeah, see, there you go. You found everything. We got a nice little bonus for that. Anyway, we're going to call it a part here for today. I've been Anansi. You've been awesome. And I'll catch you later.